Hey drummers, welcome to this free mini song lesson where today I'm going to show you how to play the song White Room by Cream, drummed of course by the legendary Ginger Baker. I've got 3 pages of PDF you can download from my website for free. You'll find the link beneath this video. So have all 3 pages printed out in front of you as we go through this together. It's going to make things a lot easier for you to understand because there's a lot of stuff to read off the page. Ginger is famous for his improvisation. So I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 of the biggest parts of the song, and with those 6 parts you should be able to get a very good idea of the entire performance. A lot of his ideas are repeated throughout, sort of the ghost note ideas, the open hi-hat ideas, the drum fill ideas, as you'll see as we go through this lesson. So yeah, there's lots of cool stuff going on, and like I say, it's pretty much all improvisational. I found a YouTube track, something on YouTube of him doing a second take or first take of this song, and it's completely different to how you hear it on a recording, because even Ginger couldn't work out what he actually wanted to play. It's all very improvisational on the spot. So yeah, don't get too hung up on every single note. Really, it's just to get a flavour of the song. If you ask Ginger to play the entire song as he had it on the recording, again, he wouldn't be able to. It'd be completely different, completely improvised. So feel free to do the same yourself. But with this, we'll hopefully get a good flavour of what Ginger does on the recording. So written at the top here, all 16th notes are swung throughout. So we're going to get this sort of lilt stuff. The beginning part, we're not really going to hear it, but when we get to the 16th notes, 1 the and, the 2 we and, the 3 and, 4 we and, da 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 da. We're going to hear that sort of swingy lilt. And then the second part I've written here is the intro below was played on timpani. So this is one way to play it on a drum kit. So he uses 4 different pitched timpanis on the album. Obvious way to replicate that, if you haven't got 4 timpani drums handy, is to play up all the toms. Now I've got 4 toms, that's handy for me. I can sort of replicate note for note. But if you haven't got 4 toms, if you've got 3 or 2, even 2 toms, then you just got to work out which part you're going to repeat. So the first bar might get repeated twice. Sorry, the first and second bar might get repeated on the same tom. And then if you've only got 2 toms, the last 2 bars will be played on the floor tom. Usually common sense, but I'm going to play it on all 4 toms. It's the same rhythm for each bar though, and we're playing it in 5/4. That's a time signature. So there are 5 beats to the bar. Usually we just have 4 beats, 1, 2, 3, 4. Here we have 5. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 5 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 5. Da 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 da. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1. So the rhythm, as I just sung for you there perfectly, is 1, 2 triplet 3, 4 and 5 and 1 and 2 triplet 3 and 4 and 5 and 1 and 2 triplet 3 and 4 and 5 and. So 8th note triplets on beat 2 and then 4 and 5 8th notes to the end of the bar. 1 and 2 triplet 3 and 4 and 5 and 1 and 2 triplet 3 and 4 and 5 and 1 and 2 triplet 3 and 4 and 5. At the beginning of each bar we just get a bass drum and crash cymbal with the first tom. So I'm going to play it like this. 1 and 2 triplet 3 and 4 and 5. Down to your next tom. 1 and 2 triplet 3 and 4 and 5. Next tom. 1, 2 triplet 3 and 4 and 5. 1, 2 triplet 3, 4 and 5. Then back up to the beginning. So high tom, all the way down. And the very last bar of that second line, the 5th bar on that line, we get the lowest timpani, floor tom, being played again. 1, 2, 3, 4. But we're going to move back into a bar of 4. So you're not going to play that snare drum flam on beat 5 because that bar is a bar of 4. You're going to play 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, da, 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 da. And we're into our main part of the song. So those last 2 bars, 1, 2 triplet 3, 4 and 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1. And we're into our first bar. So before we go on, let me now play for you the intro up to speed without the microphone on so you can hear just the drums. Here we go. So this next section I've got for you occurs at 0 minute 24, basically just after the intro I just showed you. And it's the first 16 bars of the song, and within those 16 bars you get a really good idea of sort of the improvisation that Ginger's doing with the snare drum, with the bass drum, and with those drum fills at the end as well. So I'm just going to take you through bar by bar, and you can see that they're all pretty much different to each other. You might get some repeats of some bars, in fact you do, but they all feel kind of different next to each other. So the first bar, simple stuff, 1, 2, 3 and 4 and 1. Notice it doesn't start with a crash cymbal. We do get crash cymbals throughout the song, but not in these sections. 1, 2, 3 and 4 and 1. Next bar, we get 1 and 2. A ghosted snare drum note on the end of 1. 1 and 2. I believe that's what he's playing. 1 and 2. So we get this like sort of da 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 on the snare drum. 1 and 2. And then he plays these 16th notes here in between the hi-hats, sort of normal volume snare drum, and this is where we start to hear that swung 16th lilt, and the E and 4 and up to speed it sort of makes sense. It's not, it's slightly swung. Hopefully you can hear the difference there. It's very hard to replicate another drummer's sort of swing feel, especially Ginger's, but that's what he's doing there. 1 and 2 and the E and 4 and I must admit, some of these bass drums are quite low in the mix. They seem to be louder and or softer than other notes. So he's definitely playing the bass drum dynamically. Whether he's playing, well, I don't think he's playing the other bass drum because he's got a bass drum kit for some of these notes. Perhaps it's like a lower tuning, so it sounds quieter. I think he's actually dynamically playing these bass drum stuff like that. So he's a bigger jazz drummer at heart. He's very good at improvising with the bass drums, volume and dynamics. Most rock drummers, including myself, would just play all the bass drum notes the same volume. Ginger doesn't, so just be aware of that. I didn't notate it on the music, but there is some dynamics there with the bass drum. So you might be thinking, that's a really, is that a bass drum he just played there? I can hardly hear it compared to the previous one. That's because he's dynamically playing them. So we get 1 and 2 and 3, and our first little drag that I heard, 1 and 2 and 3. And then 3 and 4 and 1. But he doesn't play a bass drum on beat 1. He plays 1 and then 2 and 3 and 4 and 1. Back to the hi-hat, no crash cymbal. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1. I almost wanted to play a crash cymbal there. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1. 2, 3. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1. You'll play it like that. So just be aware of that no crash cymbal there. Let me just play that first line for you. I won't do this for every line, but the first line slowly, and I'll play it at speed for you. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 3 and 4 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1. Next line we get 1, 2, 3 and 4 1, so drags there at the end of each half of the bar, and then miss the bass drum on beat 1, 1 and 2, 3 and 4 and. Bar 3 is the same as the line above it, 1 and 2, 3 and 4 1, and that last bar is exactly the same as the bar above as well. So those last two bars are the same as line 1. Line 3, we get some extra bass drum notes occurring at the beginning of the bar now, beginning of the line, 1 and 2, 3 and 4, and then 1 and 2, 3 and 4 and. Then we get the next two bars exactly the same as the line above it, so we are getting some repeating ideas here. Then the fourth line, we get 1, 2, 3 and 4, 1 and 2, 3 and 4 and. In fact, I take it back. We've got a lot of repeating ideas here in this first section, where he does repeat sort of this melodic bass drum and snare drum part. Bar 3 is exactly the same as the line above it, except the last note of bar 3, I didn't hear it as a drag, I just heard it as a single ghost note. So you could play a drag or a ghost note. Not, but I could be wrong, it's very hard to hear. Then this last bar, 1 and 2 and, up to the highest tom, 1 and 2 and, next lowest tom, we're playing 16th note triplets, 3 ta and ta, 6 notes in that space of one beat. Down to your lowest tom or next lowest tom for the next 6 ending the bar. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1. Bubba-da, 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 bubba-da. So really cool drum fill that. Bars 3 and 4. So now let me play for you all 4 lines up to speed. So on to page 2, and at 59 seconds, this is probably the trickiest part of the song to explain and also to try and play, because you've got some hi-hat independence. Again, being a jazz drummer, Ginger was used to sort of rocking the hi-hat on beats 2 and 4, and he uses that in this song where I believe this is how he would have done it. He's playing heel, toe with the hi-hat, so we can sort of forget about what the hi-hat's doing and leave it on autopilot. It certainly makes this a lot easier to play, as you'll see in a second. We start off with the first bar, no open hi-hat. 1, 2, 3 and 4 and if you listen really carefully, it's very low in the mix, he plays it very quietly. He's playing the snare drum on beats 1, 2, 3 and 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3. He might have missed out a couple of snare drums occasionally in some of the bars I'm about to show you, but really that's the idea he's going for, this downbeat on the snare drum. Underneath it, he consistently keeps the bass drum as playing 1, 2 and 3 and 4 and 1, 2 and 3 and 4 and 1, 2 and 3 and 4 and 1. That stays the same. On top of that, what makes it tricky is this open hi-hat thing. So pretty much every bar he plays 1, lets it open for the whole of the beat, 1, 2 and closes it on beat 2, and then we get 2 and 3 and 4, 3 and 4. So it's open on 3, closes on 4, opens on 1, closes on 2. So 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1, 2 and 3 and 4 and 1, 2 and 3 and 4 and 1, 2 and 3 and... See, I'm messing up the bass drum already. 1, 2 and 3 and 4 and 1, 2 and 3 and 4 and 1, 2 and 3 and 4. So he's really just focusing on the hi-hat plays. We're going to see some of the bars, the hi-hat's slightly different. But hopefully you can see how that's constructed. The hi-hat foot's just doing this. And don't worry if you feel like, if you make a mistake like that, as long as you stay in time, you're going to be okay. So the first 3 bars there are exactly that I just showed you. Then the next line, we get a surprise little open hi-hat on the and of beat 3 only. So he breaks up the open hi-hat foot to open it an 8th note later, so we just get the 1 open hi-hat on the and of 3. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1. Bass drum and snare drum staying the same. Bar 3, back to... Then bar 3 is a weird one. We get 1, 2 and 3 and 4. He opens it on the and of 2 and keeps it open all the way to beat 4. 1, 2 and 3 and 4 and 1. So you can see that it was and 3 and 4. So it's exactly the same bass drum snare drum pattern underneath it again, but it's just opened a little bit earlier this time instead of opening it a bit late. So a little bit of improvisation there. Bar 4 is the same as our standard idea. And then last line we get 1, 2 and 3 and 4. He just sort of plays quarter notes, pounding out 1, 2 and 3 and 4 and then I think he plays the floor tom instead of the bass drum. It might be the bass drum as the first note of this drum fill. It might be and 1, but I think it's and 1 and. Instead of and 1 and, I think it's and 1 and then it's 1 and 2 and 3. Again, I don't think it's the floor tom again. I don't think he plays 1 and 2 and 3. It doesn't sound like it's a tuned tom being played. It sounds like his bass drum. So 1 and 1 and 2 and 3, 4, 1 into our next section. So those last two bars, 1, 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3, 4. And that goes the hi-hat there on beat 3. You can close it on beat 4 or beat 1, doesn't really matter. Then we go into the next part of the song. So let me now play for you those 3 lines up to speed. So at 1 minute 56, we've got another idea, another section where he's playing around with the hi-hats. I just wanted to show you this one as well because there's a few variations he does, especially in bar 3. That's really what I wanted to show you. And bar 2 has a more sparse open hi-hat thing, so you can see he's improvising with the hi-hat. First bar, 1, 2, 3 and 4, and it's a little ghost note on the of 2 there. Then bar 2, like he's warming up to it, he plays 1, 2 and 3 and 4 and doesn't open the hi-hat on beat 3, but notice that bass drum pattern coming back in again and the snare drum being played on all 4 beats. Bar 3 is really what I wanted to show you. He plays 1, 2 and 3 and 4 and 1. So it's 1, 2 or 1 and 2. Don't worry about the extra hi-hat being struck on the end of 1. You could play 1, 2 if you wanted to, but it's the and 3 and 4. Only the open upbeats, open hi-hats on the upbeats with the bass drum on the and of 2 and the and of 3, closing with the snare drum. 1, 1, 2 and 3 and 4 and 1, 2 and 3 and 4 and 1. And he resolves back to Old Faithful there at the end of the line. So let me play for you those 4 bars up to speed. So at 4 minute 10, we sort of hear our next sort of big improvisational section where we got some cool things going on, where something different to what he's already played. Yeah, we start to get some bigger drum fills, some variations of the drum fills. So the line starts with 1, 2, 2 open hi-hats. 1, 2, it closes on the and of 2. Don't worry too much about where you close it. 1, 2, 3 and we get a little snare drum ghost note, a 3, and I played it accidentally, it should be a 3 and 4 and. Bar 2 though, we get 1 and 2, that idea again, and then and a 3 and 4 and, so 1 and 2 and a 3 and 4 and 1, and then bar 3 open hi-hats, 1 and 2, 3 and 4 and then bar 4 here, our first variation of that drum fill from the beginning, 1 and 2 and a 3 and a 4 and. So not and a 3 and a 4 and it's and a 4 and instead. 1 and 2 and a 3 and a 4 and the hi-hat actually closes on the first flam snare drum on the and of 1. Slightly different variation, orchestration of the drum fill there. Next line, keeping the hi-hat open, 1 and 2 and a 3 and 4 and then this drum fill, 1 and 2 and a 3 and then 3 and a 4 and 3 and a 4 and a 4 and a, could be 4 and a, but it's between 2 different toms, 3 and a 4 and a. There is, I haven't written it on the chart, but there is that E, the snare drum on the E of beat 3 is played slightly quieter than the and the of beat 3, so if you want to play it exactly dynamically, so we get 1 and 2 and a 3 and a 4 and a 1. Then we get 1 and 2, a 3 and 4, and then 1 and 2 closes on with the first flam. 1 and 2, and then and a 3, and then I think he plays and a 4 and. Again, using splitting up the toms here. So it's the same rhythm as the line above it, but slightly different orchestration. Cool idea though. So let me now play for you those 2 lines. Guess what? Up to speed. So 4 minute 27, just before the song fades out, we get some of Ginger's bigger drum fills. First bar is 1 and 2, 3 and 4, and all open hi-hat at this point. Bar 2, 1 and 2, and a 3, E and a 4, E and a 1. I believe that's what he's playing. It's not double bass drum, you can hear the snare drums in between. Bar 3, bar 4, all flams, and 2 and 3 and 4, and 2 on every drum apart from the middle tom there. Ending with a crash cymbal. The next line we get to 1 and 2 and a 3 and 4, and then this was probably the hardest part for me to transcribe. I had to listen very carefully. Pretty sure this is played on the double bass drum. I think what he's playing is this: 1 and 2 E and a 3 E and 2 E and a 3 E and. You couldn't really play this with one bass drum pedal. So if you haven't got a double bass drum pedal, then you have to work out something else to play. Perhaps use the toms, something like that, or be easier if you lead with your right hand, something like that. But I think Ginger plays 1 and 2 E and a 3 E and, except played much better than that. 1 and 2 E and a, I'm playing 16th notes. 1 and 2 E and a 3 E and 4, and that's better. So we get this bars 1 into bar 2, 1 and 2 and a 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 E and a 3 E and 4 and 1. Bar 3, 1, 2, bass drum on 1 and 2, 1 and 2, a 3 and 4, and then the last bar I've written for you, 1 and 2 and 3 and 4, and I think just that final and 4 idea happens again there on that 4th bar. So finally, let me now play through those 2 lines, hopefully kind of like Ginger, up to speed. So I hope you had fun with that, and hope you forgive me for not being able to replicate Ginger's sound and feel precisely. I don't think many can. He was a very unique drummer. If you've got any questions about any of this, then feel free to email me, robertdrumstheword.com. And you might want to consider signing up to become an online member at my website. And what they currently offer for £97 is a full year's online access to every single full video song lesson I've ever recorded and transcribed. And that's over 550, almost 600 full video song lessons where, unlike this lesson, I teach you a song from start to finish. You get the fully transcribed PDF drum chart for the entire song. And like I said, I've got over 550 full song lessons on the website already, including at least one other Cream song. And I'm sure I'll be adding more in the future. It's a popular request. But Ginger's obviously a popular request on my website. As a thank you for signing up, I'll give you access to hundreds more little videos teaching you many famous drum beats, fills, and even drum solos. I'll give you 3 ebooks I've written over the years containing hundreds more famous beats, fills, and solos, including which I probably got that part of the Toad drum solo that Ginger did. So I'm pretty sure I've got that somewhere on the website already. And then over the year of your subscription, you also gain instant online access to all the new material that I upload for my members. And I record new lessons every week unless I'm ill or on holiday. So you've got lots of cool stuff to look forward to over the year of your subscription. But if you've got any questions about any of that, then feel free to email me, robertdrumstheword.com. And until our next drum lesson together, toodle pip and happy drumming to you.